Hey girls, how are you doing? So in this masterclass, we are going to be going through all things overeating, which is a topic that has come up over the last couple of weeks for a lot of the SWS girls. So I said it was something that definitely, as a recurring theme, we needed to go through it. Okay, so overeating, the why and the strategies on how to overcome it. Okay, and as I go through this, it does slightly overlap or a little bit overlap with the likes of emotional eating, which we do have a separate masterclass on that, and I will run through that towards the end. Okay, so when it comes to overeating, right? Overeating is when we consume more than our body actually needs for energy and to actually function, right? This can happen for a number of reasons. It can happen just occasionally when we end up going out for a meal out and we haven't had one in a while, or it can be a case that it happens a little bit more habitually, where we tend to, for example, on a Friday evening, sit down and just overeat in the evening time. These the likes of overeating is usually driven by factors beyond actual physical hunger. So it can be exhaustion, it can be tiredness, it can be emotions, and that's where it does slightly part into emotional eating, okay? It isn't a lack of willpower as such, right? It is usually influenced by habits, environments, emotions, and awareness as well, okay? So something that we do want to bear in mind on this side as well. I do feel like sometimes environment is a big one, especially for us as Irish. We've been always told to finish our dinner before we can have dessert, even if we have been full. So it's nearly been ingrained to us in us to overeat from a very young age. So common causes of overeating is eating too quickly, distractions while eating, which is a massive one at the minute. Your phone, TV, sitting at your desk at work and eating your lunch. And the thing with this as well is that because we're not present in the meal, we are not aware that we are eating. And how many times have you been watching TV and you've been eating a packet of crisps or a packet of popcorn and you go to grab another one and you realize they're gone? And that heart sinking feeling, knowing that you actually didn't realize you were on the last bite, and you would have savored that bite so much more if you knew. So this is the thing that we're looking at, is like those distractions are stopping us from being aware of what we are actually eating and how much we are consuming. Okay, emotional triggers like stress, boredom, and reward as well can be causes. Also, highly palatable foods that override fullness signals is a big one as well. And then just not knowing how to check in with ourselves to know if we are still hungry or full, right? So strategies that we can use for overeating is slowing down your eating, which sounds so simple, right? And it is. This is one of the most effective ways to reduce overeating. Your meals should ideally take 15 to 20 minutes to eat. This gives our body enough time to actually register that we have eaten. Like, how many times have you sat and had a meal in 5 minutes and on the go, or standing while holding your food, running around the house like a mad woman? We've all done it, right? So research does suggest per bite that you put into your mouth, there should be 20 to 30 chews, so it can really help to improve the digestion. The thing is, right, when we eat slower, we will feel fuller quicker, right? If you notice, if you ever go out for a fancy meal or whatever, and you're out talking with people, and the more that you're talking through the meal and slowing down your food, the quick, like, you are full a lot quicker than if you sat down on your own and just kept eating, right? And the reason for that is that it is the fullness hormone, leptin, that signals to your brain that we've had enough, right? So in this, right, there is a slight delay between the eating and feeling full because of that hormonal signal, right, between the gut and brain. And this is why they do say like 15 to 20 minutes to eat your food gives the fullness hormone enough time to signal to your brain if you are still hungry or are full or not. The other side of this as well is, like, if you go into a meal absolutely starving, the likelihood of you overeating is so much higher because you are absolutely starving. So for you to even reach that point where your fullness hormone is kicking in, being like, yeah, we're full, it's going to take longer. So oftentimes we end up overeating in that time because we just feel like we can't get full. But actually, it's because we've left like our meal so long that when we're getting into it, we are then at a position where it's taking it longer for the fullness hormone to kick in. Okay. Other ways on how we can slow down in practice is put your phone away, remove distractions, don't sit in front of the TV while eating, focus fully on your meal, put down the knife and fork between bites. Like, how often have you been eating, put something in your mouth, and you're already getting the next forkful ready? And this is a really good tip as well, that when you are in meals out as well, is to put the knife and fork down from time to time. Be more mindful and present in your meals. Take smaller bites, chew your food thoroughly as well. Pause midway through the meal and just check in with yourself. ask yourself the question, how am I feeling right now? Am I still hungry, or am I just eating because it's still there? And this is the thing as well, like I said, we've been growing up as kids told that if we don't finish everything that we can't have the dessert. And this is part of the problem of like, we don't know, majority don't actually know when they are full until they're over full, right? If you finish your meal and still feel like eating more, give yourself 15 to 20 minutes before going up for seconds. This gives your body a chance to actually signal hormones to see if you are full. Oftentimes, once that time comes in, the fullness signal does kick in, you realize I'm actually not even hungry, I don't even want the second. So it's giving yourself time to let that kick in, right? When you are eating out or snacking, right, overeating often happens after we're already full and we're just picking at food. How many times have you finished at the restaurant and there's still chips in the middle of the table, or there's prawn crackers, and you're still like eating them because they're there? The simple behavioral tools we can use in this is move the plates away from you when you are done. Put a napkin over the food that you have said that you're finished with. Because if it's there, you'll probably end up going back a little bit, right? Especially if the waiters are slow to take everything away. And verbally saying in front of everyone, oh, I'm full. That was lovely. You verbally said it reinforces that decision that you are full. So you will stop picking at it after, okay? So those are really, really good tips as well. When you are eating out, right, the main thing I'll say here, this doesn't matter from the diet phase, this doesn't matter what phase we are in. Balanced meals are going to help you stay fuller for longer, and the likelihood of overeating is going to be massively reduced if we keep protein high in that meal, have the micronutrients for fiber, which is going to help us with digestion as well. Keep an eye on the carb intake of your meals as well. Carbs are not the enemy, but if you compare it like a pasta dish, which is just all carbs, versus a dish that has, let's say, your chicken, it has a carb source, it has your micronutrients like your veggies, let's say a roast dinner, for example, just to make it easy here. The likelihood of you finishing earlier in the roast dinner is higher than the pasta dish, because the pasta, you're filling up on carbs, but it's so easy to overeat carbs because they taste so good, and because they're just carbs and there's nothing else in that meal, it's not making it balanced, so we're not going to feel fuller for longer. So something to bear in mind on that side as well. I love a pasta dish when I'm out and going to an Italian, for example, right? I know an hour later, girls, I'm fucking starving. I'm sorry. I'm not full from pasta dishes. I never am. They taste lovely, but like, chuck a chicken breast on top for me, please. And you'll notice the difference on how much you can eat of something when it's only one of the macronutrients, typically carbs. So when it comes to overeating versus emotional eating, right, is you will eat food that your body doesn't need, right? And usually it goes in these steps. You feel an emotion like you're upset, you're bored, you're overwhelmed, right? That feeling, that emotion makes you want to eat to distract yourself, right? So you feel better in the short term, but after a while then you feel guilty or shame around that, and then these feelings may cause you to lean into that again, okay? So the issue with emotional eating is that when an emotion comes up for us that triggers us as such, we don't know how to handle that, so we turn to food, okay? So that's emotional eating. Whereas when we look at then the likes of overeating, it is eating more than our food needs regardless of the reason. And this can happen during normal meals because we have too big a portion and we're eating too fast. It may or may not involve an emotional trigger here, okay? But the likes of overeating usually occurs due to habits, environment, and highly palatable foods. And it doesn't always cause emotional distress, okay? So there is a difference between overeating and emotional eating. Emotional eating is based on an emotion that makes us lean towards food. And we do have that masterclass emotional eating in the content library in the app as well, if you do want to watch that, okay? So have I just added the same slide again? Yeah, I just added 2 slides of it. Okay, so key takeaways then is emotions and habits are the core reason behind overeating, more so habits and environment as such, rather than the big emotional piece. Learning how to check in with yourself and how you're feeling is the most important part, right? Slowing down your meals does help. Having balance in your meals does help as well. Protein, carbs, fats, micronutrients. Slow down that digestion a little bit. And the most important part here is awareness is the first step to navigating this, and then action is the second. So now that you have the awareness and education behind it, we can start to change it, okay? Any questions on that, let me know, and I will chat to you soon.